Hi, I'm Jana, and this is a tour of the 2024 Lexus GX 550. And in this quick tour, I'm going to tell you what I liked and what you need to know. So let's get to it. Let's start with this engine. I have been asked if this is a hybrid because the sister vehicle, the Land Cruiser, is on a hybrid powertrain. This is not. Under the hood, we have a 3.4 liter twin turbocharged V6. It's gonna make 349 horsepower and generate 479 pound-feet of torque. That's paired with a 10-speed direct shift automatic transmission, and all of that powertrain combined is gonna allow this to tow up to 8,000 pounds. You also have paddle shifters, which I will show you more when we get inside. But let's hop over to fuel economy because you're gonna get 15 mpg in the city, 21 on the highway for a combined 17 mpg. You have to run premium fuel in this baby. I have been driving it, I don't know, 300 miles. I'm in North Carolina, and premium fuel here, I think it's about $3.59 or $3.79. I can't remember what I paid yesterday, but I put right over 13 gallons in for $52. And I struggled opening the fuel tank because on some other Lexus products, there's a button or you just push it and it pops open. You pull this handle and it will open your fuel door. And in case you forget that you have to run premium, don't worry. There's a note for you. What I'm gonna do is go inside where I think the magic is happening, or is it? Let's go check it out. So this is the Premium Plus trim level that I'm in, which means it's not the top or the bottom of the trim levels. This is about 71,000 MSRP. It starts at 67,000, but as equipped, and I'll get into the options, it's gonna come in right at 71. A couple things that are different between this and higher trim levels. This has a regular moon roof. You could upgrade and get a pano roof. We do not have a camera in your rear view mirror. You could upgrade and get that. We have a 10-speaker Lexus premium sound system, but in higher trim levels, you can get a 21-speaker Mark Levinson premium surround sound system, which will be awesome. Under your armrest, you have a good amount of storage, but you have the option to put in a cooler box. Moms who breastfeed, pump, or bottle feed, you could store that in your cooler box, which I really, really like. These front seats are power adjusting with lumbar. They're also heated and ventilated, and you control that up here. This passenger seat's also heated and ventilated. The second row is heated and the third row is not. It's just power adjusted. Your driver's seat is power adjusted, and you have 3 memory setting positions. And this seating material in this trim level is synthetic. It's called Nulux, and it is a leatherette. In higher trim levels, you will get leather. In front of the driver, you have a 12.3-inch digital display, which is customizable. You have a head-up display, which is also adjustable and customizable. You have wireless connectivity, so you don't need a cord to get Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, 2 USB-C charging ports, and a really interesting little cover here for the 12-volt plug. A lot of people really love wood grain, and they love that about the older generation GX, and we still have wood grain here. You're gonna find it here and on the sides of your doors. This is a 4-wheel drive vehicle, and this is how you control your 4-wheel drive. You have 4 high, and you would push it to go into 4 low, and you can lock or unlock your rear differential with this button. You have 3 drive modes to choose from, and you do that from this mode selector knob. You have sport when you want to kick it up a notch. That's a great time to use your paddle shifters. You're gonna have less MPG and better performance. You have normal, which will be your everyday around town driving, and you have eco. And eco is gonna give you your best MPG, but it will pull back your performance just a little bit to give you that good MPG. I teased you and told you about this head-up display and how to adjust it. And you're gonna do that here on this screen. You're gonna go to settings, vehicle, customize, head-up display, and then you can control your brightness. You can display full, standard, or minimal. I like a full. And you can move it depending on your line of sight. So I'm 5'7", but I like to sit up tall. I always adjust my seat, so I'm sitting up tall and I'm like on the steering wheel, and I get made fun of that I look like a grandma. I don't really care, I like to be safe. But when I got in here, I didn't even know there was a head-up display because the way it was positioned, it wasn't in my line of sight. It just wasn't. So that's how I found these controls, and I moved it more up or down or whatever I needed to do. And you can also tweak it that way. Just a little tip if you buy a Lexus GX 550 and need to adjust your head-up display, that's how you do it. You have the option of getting a digital key. That does require a remote connection subscription if you buy one, and I think it has a 3-year trial if you're a new buyer. Before I go into the second row, I just want to show you some of the things I love about the front seat area. I love how all of this, I usually don't mention these seating materials, but notice this. This is where my knee would naturally bump into when I'm getting in and out of the car when the door closes. I can't tell you how many times, do you see these scars on my knees from speakers or metal ripping the top of my kneecap off? This is padded, and I really, really appreciate that. You also have mixed materials here, your vents here, you have vents here and here, and a convenient little storage tray here where you could put keys, phone, snacks, granola bars, whatever. Your glove box is normal. You do have that tray, which I haven't seen in many cars, so that you could put, you know, things on the top or underneath, and it does lock. You have more of that padding and soft material here for your knees. You have an electronic parking brake, your auto hold button, which I call the fast food button, so you don't have to go gas brake, and all of that. And 2 cup or bottle holders that are squared off. Close that up. You could lay your phone here, or I have actually used this as a cell phone holder as well. Your wireless charging pad is here, and shout out to Lexus. It's been flawless. You don't have to jiggle with it, and you don't have to take your cover off, and it charges beautifully. Under here, you have storage that's pretty normal. Your tech in the GX, you're gonna have a 12.3-inch driver display, which is fully digital gauge cluster, and it's customizable. You customize it with this screen. We do have a power adjusted steering wheel, so it'll telescope in and out and up and down. One of the cool things about this backup camera is this see-through view. So see how the car disappears? I am parked on the street right now waiting for my neighbor to come out, but see this? It enables you to see what's under your vehicle and what's around it. And let's head over to this display. One of the things I like about Toyota and Lexus infotainment is that it's actually pretty intuitive and easy to use. Some people may think it's simplified, but I honestly don't need things complicated. This does a nice job for me. This is your nav. You can use your voice to set your nav, or do it the other way of typing it in. Your button for your audio, you can enable audio, which we're not going to do since we're filming here. You connect devices here, Bluetooth, or you have wireless connectivity, so you don't need a cord to do Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And here's all your settings. I want to jump into driver assistance because there's so many things that are going to beep at you, help you, and keep you safe, but you are able to toggle them off, like your lane departure alert system, intuitive parking assistant, blind spot monitor, safe exit assist, which is great if you're parallel parking on the street, rear cross traffic alert, which is a great one. I call that the grocery store or Target parking lot because people are always shooting by you when you're trying to back out of a space. Rear camera detection is a great one also in those scenarios if somebody's walking behind your Lexus. Proactive driving assistance, which is your hands-free driving, and it reads road signs. Road sign assistance, which is what I was just saying, and pre-collision system, which is your warning and mitigation. You have your trip information here and your history here. I've averaged 19 mpg. You get 15 in the city, 21 on the highway for 17 on average. You have your off-road information because this is a four-wheel drive vehicle. You have 4 high and a switch into 4 high or low. You're going to push that down and move that. You also have a locker, so you can lock or unlock your rear differential if you were going off-roading, and you have your pitch and information here. Tire pressure, which mine actually could be improved upon, and vehicle alerts, which we don't have any. And then this is your settings button. You're gonna have your personal information, all your hookups for your devices, general, your date and time. It's really actually easy to set that. And you can do military time if you want to, and then all you do when the time changes is touch this button. You do have a Wi-Fi hotspot on board that you can enable, and it comes in really handy with the kids. And display is very important. So you have your automatic, it'll adjust whether it's day or night, and your contrast, and then camera screen. So you have your brightness and the color of your line. Sound and media, you can adjust here, equalizer, treble, all that stuff. You have your nav settings that you can include here, whether you want to show home and that sort of thing. And then you can customize your vehicle right here. And let's get into this one. This is your head-up display settings. So you can control your brightness. You can choose if you want a full display, standard, or minimal. And then you actually move it up and down here by toggling these things here. You have your meter types. Type 1 is this one. We're going to move it to type 2, and you see how that changes things, and this is what type 3 looks like. I'm a big fan of type 2, so I think I'm going to keep it there. Lights. You have theme, so many different ambient lights. I've already switched this once. A lot of really pretty choices. This is iceberg. Now, I will try to show you this at night. The ambient lights aren't super bright, knock you in the face, but they do exist, and you can see them when it's darker. Door control. You control that here, boarding and exiting. You can even customize your seat temperature where you want that, and your smog sensitivity if you live somewhere that has a lot of smog. Rear seat reminder is on. You can know your scheduled maintenance. You can reset that here, and that's all under setting. This thing has beeped at me a whole lot when driving it because there's so much safety, so I would turn some of it off, but I do like to have stuff. There's something that's a cross traffic notification. So if I'm at a stoplight and I'm waiting, I'm on red, I'm the first car, and then sometimes, you know, you'll take your foot off the gas and you'll try to inch forward just to prepare for when the light turns green. It will start beeping, and there will be an indicator here that says cross traffic detected. Your collision mitigation. Warning timing is on a default. You could do it earlier, meaning you want more of a warning. You can do it later, saying, no, I'm a little bit more of an aggressive driver. Don't beep at me quite so much. You can also set things like the volume. I want it lower, actually. It's pretty darn loud, even on mid, for me anyway. And then you can choose which notifications you want. Excess speed, you get a visual. You could get visual and audible. I don't want that. The visual comes up here. If I were speeding, you would see a light or an indicator here that says, like, okay, the MPH is 55 and you're going 60, and it would also show in your head-up display. One of the things that's really unique about this car is that you have a traffic jam alert, and that basically is pretty self-explanatory. If the car senses or knows there's a traffic jam, it's going to alert and try to reroute you around it, which is necessary in a lot of cities like mine. So with that, I think you've seen most of the important things in the front row. Let's go check out the second row. One of the things I want you to notice about the door on the GX 550 is it doesn't open to a 90. A lot of times when you're putting kids in car seats, yes, you think they can open the door, kids, and fling it into somebody else's door, but this angle, some actually will come further to 90, and it just makes accessing the inside of the vehicle easier. We're also missing some sunshades. I would expect they would come in higher levels, but I don't know that for certain. In the second row, I have pretty good leg room. I will mention these seats are a little bit firm, which some people may like for longer trips and some people may find a little bit uncomfortable. They do sit very upright, but there is a handle on the side that flips these seats down, so you do have the ability to adjust, but the natural setting is this, which I didn't know my kids were riding straight up. On the first day I had them in here, they didn't like that, so I recline them, but that does affect the space in the third row, of course. You have two sets of lower latches, and it is covered by this pretty Nulux material that just keeps it tidied away. An armrest with two cup holders, 3 head restraints for your backseat passengers. On this bench, at the stage of life I'm in, I prefer captain's chairs. A lot of people who are gonna have kids in car seats would want a bench, total personal preference. You should know. Your vents are up top. You can control your climate from here. I have good leg room in the second row. These seats are not on rails, so this bench is stationary. So this is the amount of leg room you have when this is set for a driver who is, or a rider who's probably 5'8" to 5'10". You can control your climate from back here. These people in the back have heated seats, and you have a place to charge with 2 USB-C charging ports. We're gonna use these buttons to bring up the third row. And this is pretty unique. Check that out. The whole thing just unfolds. Of course, you'll need to put your headrests up, but that's what it looks back there. So obviously, if you have kids in car seats, you cannot do this. I had my almost 10-year-old son practice this last night for a short video for TikTok and Instagram. And it was a struggle. I had to talk him to it a couple times, and then once he got in the third row pulling the seat back, he kept wanting to pull on this, and that's what collapses it, and so that just wasn't the thing. And then the natural resting spot I can show you is there. Now I will say, for your car seat install, you could install a car seat here on the 60% and leave the 40 to always be collapsed to get into the third row, so that you're not bothering the people in car seats to do that. I found it a little bit tricky showing the third row with the bench seat and this whole setup. So I'm going in this way gracefully, I hope. Okay, so I'm in. I'm gonna pull this seat down. I hope you can see this. This is what it looks like all the way up. I have this much exactly room between my knee and the back of the seat, but we already reviewed that that's not that comfortable. Most people want to have it a little bit reclined. My knees are still not touching the seat. I like the fact this is 2-person third row, so we're not going to try to squeeze a butt in the middle, and we can't because there's no seat here in the middle. I'm just going to bring you in so you can see what this looks like from here. Not bad. Opening here so that we don't put a person here. You have 2 cup holders. You can recline these seats with this button, but I'm already reclined all the way back. You have a USB-C charging port on both sides and handles to help you get yourself into the third row. You have your vents up top on either side, just like the second row. And to exit the third row, you're gonna do this, you're gonna pull this latch. That's going to leap out of your way. And hopefully somebody's gonna open your door for you, but if it's carpool for my kids, they have to manage it themselves, which can be a lot. Swinging around to the back, you have that beautiful LED light bar that goes all the way across, and it looks really good at night. I just think this is so bold, and I love the way it sets off the whole boxy exterior. You have a spoiler with a brake light, you have cameras all over, an exposed wiper, and look at this. Push this button and you can pop and open this glass in case you just wanted to pop some items right in. You can do it here. Or if you have a dog and he likes to hang his head out, so many people love this feature. It was on the 4Runner and then I think they took it away and people went crazy. And I want to say they brought it back for 2025. But I haven't driven that yet. One of the family-friendly features that I have a love-hate relationship with is a kick. So this has a kick to open, and it should have a kick to close. So you just swipe your foot, it's as easy as that, to get your liftgate open. This is very handy if your hands are full, or if you've got kids or one on the hip and you're throwing something back here. Now, since I said throw something back here, let's come in and look at this cargo since I've got you here. I brought my carry-on suitcase for reference. With the third row up, this is what your storage looks like. There are power buttons here, so you can fold the third row down. I do think you need to hold this down and actually, okay. It really beeps when these seats are not in the exact position, either up or down. So, got these folded flat. And you can see with the third row down, you have a ton of really good storage room. And no true family demo is complete without a bunch of crap for the soccer field. So I have my soccer chair, which is long and awkward. Have my backpack with all the soccer stuff needed. We still have good room back here. In the short time that I've had the GX 550, I have driven it to soccer 4 times. I've had a cooler back here, 4 of the soccer chairs back here. I could not do that unless the third row was down. If it were up, if I had extra passengers, that would not be possible. So just know that. Back here, as far as amenities go, we also have a traditional household plug and seatbelt tethers. Lexus does a beautiful job of having seatbelt tethers for the first and second rows to keep everything neat and tidy. And this is what that looks like. You just bring it in, clip this in here, and it keeps this folded away so it's just not in the way. All right, I'm gonna have to take all of this out to put the third row back up to show you that. But while I have you back here, I should note that this is equipped with a trailer hitch. And if I haven't mentioned it yet, you can tow up to 8,000 pounds. We should have a kick to close. All right, I'm not gonna mess around with it. We're just gonna use this button. We'll see if the door will close with one carry-on suitcase. I think you can see that you can fit 2 or 3 back there, just depending on how you janged your pieces in there. If you don't want to mess with the kick, just hold this down and you can open up your lift gate this way. Okay, let's look at this side body. This big boxy design is what makes it so polarizing. I feel like you either love the boxier, more athletic appearance or you don't. I happen to be a big fan. I love the lines of this car and I love the way it looks. So on this side body, you're gonna notice a couple things. You have 20-inch twin spoke alloy wheels that are black and bright machined finish. That's a whole mouthful. Not gonna lie, I looked up what machined wheels means because I've said it so many times. A machined face wheel has a thin layer of metal removed from the surface using a machine while spinning, so it creates a smooth and shiny consistent metal finish that cannot be achieved with regular spray painted wheels. These are dirty, but there's a close-up look of your 20-inch. On higher trim levels, I am pretty sure you can get a larger wheel. You have your more truck-like wheel wells, the openings that are more squared off. You have stationary running boards on this Premium Plus trim level, which I use to get in and out because it's just that high up that I need it. On higher trim levels, you will get automatic running boards. So when you don't need them, they'll fold away. Your side view mirrors are power adjustable, power folding. You have your turn signal indicator here. They are auto dimming. These are big and boxy, very similar to Land Cruiser. There's a button in here and they have your blind spot monitor right in here. Let's go around to the front so that you can see the headlamps. You have your LED headlamps, LED fogs, LEDs all the way around, as you would probably expect from Lexus, and the Lexus spindle grille, which is really polarizing. When I saw Lexus TX, I didn't know how I felt about the spindle grille. It's so signature Lexus. I love the way it looks on this car with this trim level. It's bold and it just works. So what do you think so far of the Lexus GX 550? Do you think this is a good family vehicle? Let me know in the comments.